Praise God. What a beautiful reminder we have this morning that He is our rescue. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It is a pleasure for me to introduce myself to you today. My name is Belinda Adame. I'm the new director at the Wellness Center, where we provide counseling and health services. But we'll talk a little bit more about how to access those resources and services later on. But today, our Wellness Center team is extremely excited because we get to participate in chapel. And where traditionally, Judson Cares has discussed topics that are difficult to sometimes engage, such as sexual assault, mental illness, substance use. And today's topic, I assure you, will not be a disappointment. It's equally engaging and actually something that affects all of us. So I just ask you to please be receptive of today's message and the application that it has for our lives. I want you to help me in welcoming Emily Phillips to the stage as she will engage our audience in a discussion on self-compassion.
All right, thank you. Good morning. I am so happy to see you all this morning. I've been planning this, I've been looking forward to it, and I'm thrilled to be here with you. A couple things I need to warn you about. I'm a wanderer, all right? I like to wander. I like to wander up and down the aisles. Sometimes I get tired and I like to have a seat next to you. Sometimes I like to put my arm around you. Not in a weird way, but just, I like to get to know my audience. So be aware. The balcony's closed, so it's all right here. So this is perfect for me. So I will be making my way around. Don't be nervous. It's just a better way for us to connect with one another. Just to give you some history on who I am a recent alum of Judson. All right? Yeah. Thank you. I just graduated with my master's in clinical mental health counseling, and I am currently a therapist. I work in Crystal Lake, and I work with tweens, so like 10 to 13-year-old teens, 13 to 19-year-old, and 20-somethings. So that is my sweet spot. 20-somethings are the ones that I just feel such a strong connection with. I feel like the season of life that you all are in is extremely difficult. I feel like you have so many changes on the forefront, but yet it can be so overwhelming at times. So that's kind of where I love to live, is with this population. I also do a lot of trauma work, so I am trained to do sexual assault trauma and also domestic violence trauma. I am on a call-out list for a couple of the area hospitals, so if someone presents with some type of trauma, whether it's a rape situation or they're coming in with a domestic violence order protection that's been violated, I go to the hospital and I sit with people when they're in just the really dark moments, and it is such an honor to be able to be in that space with them, because it's sometimes a place that no one else can enter into. If you've been in a traumatic situation, you may understand that it's tough to call your mom, tough to call your dad, but if you've got sometimes a stranger that's willing to sit there with you and carry your story with you, it can sometimes make the difference between, kind of curling into yourself and really being open to healing. So that's something that I've been called to do. I'm also a professor at Judson. Yeah, so that's been another awesome opportunity. I teach a couple classes. I just finished this week teaching a master's class in counseling and human services. It's kind of the intro class for HSA and counseling graduate students. And then I also teach an undergrad class, the basic psychology class, so kind of intro to psych class. But I do teach on the adult side. So I teach here and I teach at the Rockford campus, but it's an awesome thing. So all that you all do over a semester, we squeeze into 6 weeks, and we are like 6 to 10 p.m. trying to get all of those things packed in. So that's what I do in my night job. So, but the most important thing that you all need to know about me is I am a TikTok fan. Anybody do TikTok? Come on. Nobody has TikTok on your phone? No TikTok? Oh, well, I am. Some of you have TikTok, right? Yeah? So if you're not familiar with TikTok, they have all these crazy little videos, songs, all kinds of dance routines, but it's a fun way to kind of pass the time. So in honor of that, I need to take a picture, right? So you know what I need to say? Judson Chapel, check. All right? So let's take a quick picture together, all right? Anybody with me? No? You're not a fan? All right, let me just get a quick picture of us together here, okay? Here we go. Judson Chapel, check. All right, there you go. All right, thanks for playing along. All right, so as I promised, I am a wanderer, so here I go. Get ready, okay? And I'm left-handed, so sometimes I veer to the left and sometimes I veer to the right. You never know where I'm going to show up. So be ready, all right? So I'm going to ask you if you have your AirPods in. Anybody have AirPods in? I see you. I'm going to see you. If you have your AirPods in, just take them out. Just tuck them back into the case. Anybody have them in? Tuck them into your little wireless charging case, and you'll have a full charge when you leave here in 45 minutes, all right? So if you've got them in there, take them out, and we're going to get them all charged up, because I want you to be fully engaged with what we're talking about this morning. And I want you to pull out your phone at the same time. Anybody have the Bible app on your phone? What do you use? What's your Bible app? ESV, but what's the app called that you use? What is it? YouVersion, absolutely. Pull up YouVersion. If you got it, pull it up now, all right? Come on, I know you got your phones. Pull them out. All right, let's pull up YouVersion, and I want you to look up a very familiar verse. We're going to go to Psalms. And we know David is the writer of the Psalms for the most part. So we're going to pull up Psalms 139, verses 14 through 18. Anybody got it? Raise your hand if you got it. Come on, nobody has it? Raise your hand. Psalms 139, verses 14 through 18. I see it in the back. I see you. All right. So this is a super familiar verse, right? We like to talk about this verse when we talk about pro-life. All right. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. What was that? I'm grumpy? Oh, you're fine. God, all right. All right. My frame was not hidden from you when I was being made in secret, intricately woven in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed substance. In your book were written, every one of them. The days were formed for me, as yet there was none of them. How precious to me are your thoughts, O God. How vast is the sum of them. If I could count them, there were more than the sand in the ocean. I am still with you. What does that mean? What does that mean? You were formed by God. Every bit of you. Every one of these platinum, fully dyed hairs on my head was numbered by God. He knows me. He knows every bit of me. He knows that I really hate getting up early. He knows that I'm a night owl, and when I stay up till 1 a.m., I pay for it the next morning. He knows that I have a lot of doubts about myself. Yeah. He knows all those things that I think nobody else knows because I hide them really well. All those little questions, all those little secret things that you have in your head that you think nobody knows, God knows. God knows that I'm the craziest procrastinator on the planet. And when I'm doing my PowerPoints for my classes that I'm teaching, I am sometimes putting them together at 5:55 for a 6 o'clock class. God knows that I have 12 20-page research papers that I have to grade, and I told my class I would have them all graded by Friday, and I haven't even started. God knows that stuff about me. He knows that that is who I am. And all those things that I beat myself up about, he knows those too. I wonder if you have any of those same thoughts. Things that maybe you think no one else knows, ways that you maybe beat yourself up. Do you have those thoughts? Do you have a little internal voice in your head that says, you're not good enough? Yeah. What are you doing here? There's this thing called the imposter syndrome. Anybody heard of the imposter syndrome? Yeah. So what it means is, like, we go along in life and we always wonder, are they going to find out the real me? Like, are you guys going to find out that I'm not an expert on self-compassion? When I was given this topic, it was perfect because I am the one who has the least self-compassion of anyone I can think of. I can beat myself up like crazy. Like if it was physical marks, it would be bruises, black eyes, broken bones. But yet, here I am talking about it, and maybe you guys are going to find out that I'm an imposter. I'm not the real deal. We all have thoughts. We all have those little voices that tell us we're not enough. And yet God says, you are perfectly and wonderfully made. But how can that be if those tapes are so loud? Those voices are so strong. They scream at us sometimes. They want us to just stop doing, stop going. They want us to slow down and just be defeated. And I wonder if you can relate to that at all. So, does anybody have a neighbor that they would be willing to volunteer for me this morning? I'm going to warn you, it's going to need to be a volunteer that's tough, like mentally tough. All right? It's going to need to be a volunteer that can take some criticism. It's going to need to be a volunteer that is going to be able to sit there and take it and not respond. It's going to need to be someone who is not going to get emotional, but that they're just going to listen and listen and listen. Yeah? You're volunteering a friend. I'm feeling a connection in this upper left corner. I told you I was left-handed, so I'm always drawn to the left. When in doubt, turn left. They're volunteering you. What do you think? You got God's plan on your shirt. What's your name?
Rod.
Right?
Rod, R-O-D.
Rod, okay. Rod. Anybody know Rod? All right. All right, Rod, would you come up and sit on the stool?
I will go.
All right. Can you guys give Rod an applause? All right. Who is currently nervous for Rod? You should be nervous for Rod right now. You're very nervous. You should be nervous for Rod, and Rod is nervous as well. All right. All right. And this is going to be even weirder because Rod is going to be me. Do we look alike? Do we look the same? How old are you?
19.
He's 19, I'm 47. Do we look alike? Yeah, exactly alike. All right.
Y'all wrong for that.
So Rod is going to be me. And I'm going to unload on Rod. You ready for this?
No.
Yeah, it's not going to hurt, but you can't respond. And you just have to sit there and you have to take it. Okay? And Rod is me. And all the awful things that I say about myself, Rod's going to take it. You're so stupid. Why did you wear that? That is the dumbest outfit I have ever seen. Oh my God. You know, it's an accident that you were even asked here today. They meant to talk to somebody else. You were probably the last choice. There were probably like a list of 20 people, and you were the last one. Loser. Oh my gosh, what is up with your hair? Ah, it's awful. His hair looks awful today. You better cover it up because nobody wants to see that. Oh my gosh. Jeez, you know that class you taught last night? You remember the class you taught last night? Well, you know when those students asked you questions? That one had a specific question for you about bipolar disorder, and you acted like, oh, you knew all there was to know about it. You didn't know a thing. You probably gave them the wrong information. They're probably going to look it up online now and go, who was that professor? She knows nothing. Way to go. So you know that client that you have that comes to see you? That client that comes to see you every Wednesday morning? You know the one I'm talking about, the one that has PTSD, the one that served 3 tours in Iraq, the one that's struggling with alcoholism, and you sit there and you're like, oh, you don't know anything about his life. You have no idea. So you think you have expert advice for him? Whatever. He's probably never going to come back and see you again. Nope. God, you're so dumb. Some of the things you say, you think you're so funny. Like you say things and you think, oh, they're a joke. Everybody's going to laugh. No one's laughing. No one's laughing at you. No one. Because you know what? You're not even funny. You have no friends. You have all these friends on social media, like all these likes. Oh my goodness, all these followers. Psst, they don't care about you. Nobody cares about you. How'd you even get here? Oh, but you're a great mom, right? Those 3 teenagers that you have, you think you're doing a good job, and you post the pictures on Facebook, and everybody's like, oh, your kids are so cute. That's so awesome, blah, 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 blah. Fake. They don't know that you just had a knockdown, drag-out fight with them last night. They don't know that you like to drink 3 glasses of wine every night just to get to sleep. They don't know that about you, do they? It's getting real. Yeah. So why should you keep going? All right. Thank you. This is his reward. That's a $20 McDonald's gift card. Take your buddies out. All right? So God views you as this beautiful, precious teacup, right? You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Everything about you is perfect. There's not a chip. He views you as perfection. He created you. And you know what you just did? You broke the teacup. You know what? You broke the teacup because that is not at all how God views you. That's what you're saying, right? That's a lie. That is a lie. All right? I'm sorry if I scared you. That is a lie. And I wanted to get your attention because every time we say those awful things to ourselves, every time we make fun of ourselves, every time we say all those things that we think nobody else hears, it's a lie. So what do you need to do? How do you quiet the voices? Because if you don't quiet the voices, what starts to happen? Depression sets in. Anybody familiar with depression? I am. Yeah, depression is those days when you don't want to get out of bed, when you pull those covers up over your head and you can't think of doing it another day because those voices can be so loud. With the self-hatred, but those voices are not of God. Those are not what God wants for you. He sees you as that beautiful, precious teacup, not the broken shards on the ground. You are more than that. So how do you pull out of those days when the voices are so loud? What do? It's really hard, isn't it? It's really hard. I can sit here and say, gosh, don't feel that way. Don't do that. Just, you're wonderful. Like, you're great. Don't think those things. I can say those things to you, can't I? But on a day when it's really bad, do you hear me? Do you hear me? Sometimes you don't. I want to take you back to the day that you found out you were accepted at Judson. Anybody remember that day? Raise your hand if you remember that day. Yeah. Was it a good day? Was it a good day? Maybe you found out you had a scholarship. Maybe you thought, I will never go to college because my grades were so bad and I had no motivation to keep going, and you got a letter. And it said, your future's about to change. You're going to start a new path. You're going to leave home. You're going to pursue a dream. I want you to remember that day, because that day felt really good, didn't it? Yeah. Those are the things we need to hang on to when it's so dark and we think, gosh, I can't do this anymore. We've got to find those celebrations, things from our past, right? Things that we remember that brought us joy. Those are the things that we have to remember. But sometimes other things get in the way. Those voices are really held, they keep playing tapes in our head because we have a tricky family situation. Anybody have a tricky family situation? I have a tricky family situation. Yeah. Like, my parents divorced when I was 21. I was a senior in college, and I'm an only child, and I thought, gosh, this is so awesome. I'm on the verge of this amazing thing. But my parents were divorcing. Like, everything that I thought was one way was suddenly another way. So we have those tricky family situations. Maybe there's addiction in your family. Maybe there's lack of support. Maybe you call home and you really need your mom to say, I love you, I'm proud of you, and she doesn't respond. Maybe there's no mom to call. Those are hard things. Those are the things that we think, gosh, I don't know if I can keep doing this. We all have hard things, but we all have a Heavenly Father that created you perfectly and wonderfully and has amazing plans for you. So as much as those hard things just feel overwhelming, take the time to understand them and do the work to be able to move forward. A lot of the clients that I see in my office, 20-somethings, they're trying to figure out, how do I not do what my parents did? How do I do it differently? I've never seen any healthy relationships in my life, but I want better. I want to get married, and I want to have a marriage where I'm not fighting with my spouse all the time, but that's all I knew. Don't try to go it alone, and don't pretend it's not there. Ask for help. Those are the things that you can start to work on now, because you're paving the way for an amazing future. And some things you just can't control, can you? Some things just don't always go our way. Sometimes you get in a car accident. Sometimes you have a boyfriend or girlfriend that cheated on you. Sometimes things don't go your way, and there's nothing that you did or could do to fix it. But you have to keep moving forward, because those things aren't your fault. So when the voices say, you're never going to have a boyfriend, you're never going to have a girlfriend, you're never going to have a healthy relationship, that's a lie. And the way that you show yourself self-compassion is to dispute those voices. It's not true. It's not true. So if I had Rod come back up here, could you come back up? Now is the fun part. It's going to be better. I want to show you what self-compassion looks like. Yeah. Hey, Emily, you know last night when that student asked you that class about bipolar disorder and you thought, gosh, I think I know, but I'm not sure that I know? Well, then you went back and you looked in the DSM, which is the Bible of all types of mental health issues, and you told him the right thing. You knew it. You knew your stuff. Yeah. And you know when you said you looked so hideous and ugly and you didn't like your hair? You rock your hair. You rock it. There are not a lot of people that could wear that haircut, and you rock it. And you know you get compliments on it, and you look good. And that outfit you're wearing today, I like it. I like it. You picked it out. You look good. Yeah. And you know those teenagers, those 3 teenagers that are making you crazy and you think, oh, when are they going to grow up? They're growing up. They're growing up. And sometimes your son, who's like 6'2", sometimes he puts his arm around you for no reason, just because he loves you. And he wouldn't do that if you were screwing up all the time, right? You're okay, Mom. You're pretty good. Not every day, maybe. Maybe you have some days that are really bad. But for the most part, you're doing okay. They're all alive, right? That's a good thing. They all get fed. Yeah. It's pretty good. Yeah. So, hey, Emily, those things that you think are just a mess, that you keep screwing up, that you can't get right, you're doing okay. You're doing really well, actually. And I'm sorry that you don't have a mom that's going to say, I love you when you call her. And I'm sorry that your parents divorced. But that doesn't have to be the way for you. You're working on it. You recognize it. You see that things can be different and you want change. And with God's help, you can make that change. So get out of bed. Get to your next class. And do life. Because you were here for a reason. You got that letter, right? That acceptance letter, it came with your name on it. Yeah? Did it come with your name on it or somebody else's? It had your name on it. You were here for a reason. You have amazing purpose. And yeah, there's going to be days when you screw up because we all have days when we screw up. But go easy on yourself. Because when I talked to Rod in those really awful voices and I said those awful things to him, would you say those things to your friend? Would you ever say those things to your friend? Never. You would never say those things to your friend. So why do we say them to ourselves? We got to stop. We got to knock it off. You are a sum of all of your parts. We talk a lot in therapy about different parts, like, oh, part of me wants to go out for dinner, part of me wants to cook dinner, or part of me feels sad and part of me feels happy. You are a sum of all of your parts. All right? And in those parts are some really positive things. So give yourself grace. Be gentle. Talk to yourself the way you would talk to a friend. You know, it's so funny. I think back to my junior high years, and I had a science grade teacher, and I was really bad in science. Mr. Helm, he was my science grade teacher, and I remember all these years later that he said I had perseverance. And I carry that word with me still. I have perseverance. And I walk a little taller when I think of that. I'm guessing you have some of those things too. And most of all, you got to rest, right? You're 2 weeks post midterms, right? You're heading into Thanksgiving, and then you're heading into finals. Treat yourself with grace. Rest when you need it. Okay? Thank you, Rod. So I'm going to ask you all to pull out your phones again, and we're going to show you some pictures here. If you need help, if you want to talk to somebody, there's a resource right here on campus. It's called the Wellness Center. If you haven't had a chance to visit it, I would urge you to do so. I'm going to show you how to pull it up on your phone. So if you could pull it out, if you could go to the Judson website. Y'all familiar with this? Seen that? Okay. So I want you to take a peek at that, and then from there, I'm going to show you how to get to the Wellness Center site. So let's go to the next slide. Up in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to see the My Judson. Type in your password there if you haven't already. It's going to take you to our favorite screen where you can see everything you want to know about your classes, right? And then up in that corner, you see Wellness. Okay? So you click on that, and then back over in the other corner where the circle is, you see all the information that the Wellness Center offers. There's a nurse. There's a doctor. There are group therapy sessions. There's individual therapy. And there are also referrals. If you want to get off of campus and you want to see somebody else, if you want to see someone like me or someone else in the community that can help you talk through some tough stuff, they can guide you there. Don't wait. Self-compassion is something that you can do for yourself, but nobody else is going to do it. And treat yourself with grace. Thank you so much for your time today. It's been an honor to talk with you. You've been great sports. Thank you so much.